And now to the biggest story in the nation this morning. Former President Donald Trump's historic guilty verdict in his hush money trial.
In just a few hours, he is expected to hold a press conference outside Trump Tower in New York. That's where KCAL News correspondent Jared Hill joins us live with more on the verdict and what comes next for the former president. Jared.
Hey, Rudabeh and Sheba, next is the big question here, and there are a couple of different spaces in which we can talk about that, from the political, because you do have a presidential election just a couple of months away, to the legal, what happens when it comes to sentencing. All of this, as former President Trump, as you mentioned, is expected to give his first real remarks since this historic conviction. Former President Donald Trump, now a convicted felon, is vowing to appeal.
I'm a very innocent man.
Trump was convicted on all 34 counts of falsifying business records to hide reimbursements to former fixer Michael Cohen, who paid adult film star Stormy Daniels $130,000 in the run-up to the 2016 election. That money to keep quiet about an alleged sexual encounter with Trump. It took the 12 jurors 11 hours to reach a verdict.
The only voice that matters is the voice of the jury, and the jury has spoken.
With the fight out of the courtroom for now, former President Trump is turning to politics, attending a fundraiser last night after the guilty verdict was read. This conviction now putting an unprecedented spin on the presidential election.
The real verdict is going to be November 5th by the people.
The Trump campaign almost immediately pushed fundraising messages, claiming he's a political prisoner. President Biden's campaign also fundraising with a message: there is still only one way to keep Donald Trump out of the Oval Office, at the ballot box. Trump's sentencing is scheduled for July 11th, just 4 days before the Republican National Convention. All right, let's talk about the sentencing a bit. What could that potentially look like? Former President Trump could be facing everything from fines to probation, possibly even prison time. We're talking 4 years for each one of these counts, but legal experts are telling CBS News that he probably won't actually end up behind bars for a number of reasons, including the nature of these white-collar crimes, as well as the fact that he does not have a criminal background. But all that is yet to be seen. We'll have to wait and see what the judge decides on July 11th. Back to you.
And Jared, of course, Trump is a convicted felon now. So how will this impact his campaign for the 2024 presidential race, which just sounds like a crazy question?
Yeah, so there are a couple of different ways we can go at this one, Sheba. So on one hand, when it comes to just like, can former President Trump run for president? Can he be president as a convicted felon? The answer constitutionally is yes. The other question, though, is what does this look like politically for him as we go forward to November? On one hand, we know that he has raised a decent amount of money just yesterday alone based on the conviction. We know that there have been a couple of times in which he's gotten a lot of fundraising dollars after some of these legal issues have popped up. And the polling, at least as of now, shows that he's still pretty strong. Now, all of that polling was done before former President Trump was a convicted felon. Now that this is not just a hypothetical and is a reality, we'll have to wait and see if there are minds changed, if this impacts people, whether it is for or against. That is something, again, that we will have to wait and see how all of this machine moves, because this is something that we as a nation have never seen before. Back to you.
Jared, you're right. One of the many things we're waiting to see. We appreciate you. Thanks.
CBS News Los Angeles, your local news, streaming wherever, whenever.